Good morning, good morning. I hope everyone is in a good mood and ready to chat. Are you ready? Because we have a lot of things to discuss this morning. A lot. Dina Lynn said Sebastian Strong. That's exactly right. This case is extremely important because, well, of the obvious, we have a missing child. I believe that Sebastian is very smart. And I know for a fact that law enforcement does not stop searching and switch from an active search to investigative mode for no reason. Scary, but it's the truth. Before I get to all of that, let's take a second, Baptist style, and tell everyone good morning. Welcome your neighbor. Several of you reached out to me overnight and wanted to know what was going on with the weather. Well, it looks like a tornado touchdown in Barnsdall, Oklahoma, one in Kingfisher, and one in Winona, which is just north of me on the northern part of Tulsa. I might have that wrong. OJ woke me up right before 2 a.m., and I have not been back to sleep. But you're in good hands, I promise. They don't really scare me. I can sleep through them, to be quite honest. But I could hear it. But I could breathe. I did have the air conditioner on. I was going to open a window because I don't want my house to burst. Now, my neighbor Linda across the street, she is so proud of those damn tulips. She had some shit on there that looked like little baby shower caps, like tulip condoms. And I said to her yesterday, I said, Linda, if these high winds come through, you're not going to have those tulip blooms anymore. Well, what did I see this morning when I'm sitting outside drinking my coffee watching Linda? She's picking up tulip condoms in a bunch of yellow petals and one orange one, because she had one orange tulip. I didn't know what to tell her. I was just like, Linda, I already told you it was going to blow away. You think you got some like Holland garden over there? Damn it, Linda. Goodness. All right, so let me give you a little glimpse of what happened. Linda's outside right now. I might knock on the window and have her come over. All right, so this is what was going on last night.
Now it appears a tornado touched down in Osage County. Tonight, crews are out surveying the damage. 2 News Oklahoma's Brody Moms is live now in Barnsdall. And Brody, you're comparing some of what you saw to the Father's Day storm.
Yeah, Karen, as we've gone around this neighborhood right here in the central part of town, we haven't seen any houses gone, but a lot of big structural damage like this behind me. This gentleman's shop uprooted, split open, the roof torn off. You can see we're not going to go.
Oh, they're gone now, big shot. Glad you were standing right there in the path. I love the people in Ada, Oklahoma that took mattresses off of their beds and put them on top of their cars to avoid the hail damage. I posted it to my Facebook. I like one that actually put a trampoline on top of like a 1987 Jeep Cherokee. Gotta love Oklahoma. Gotta love it.
Go over there because there's a power line. It would be ill-advised for us to go close to that big hunk of metal. But there was a lot of stuff in there. But before it got uprooted, this was all the stuff in it before. Look at all that. Some kids' toys. This car.
I'm going to assume that's some fucking junk they already had. But if you want to say the tornado did it, go ahead. I'm just guessing.
That the homeowner told me they bought just a few days ago, largely undamaged, but that shop is gone. It is pouring right now in Barnsdall, and it could not be darker. It's going to be hard for crews to come survey this scene until the daylight comes, but luckily, as far as we know, no injuries. We haven't heard anything like that. A lot of people went over to the school to take shelter, including this family, but it took a little bit of convincing from Elizabeth.
They were going to stay there.
Now, Elizabeth has been all over my news all friggin' morning. If you caught KOTV, her mom was also outside talking about a casserole dish. This is one of the reasons I love Oklahoma, okay?
At the house, and I was like, I can't, you guys are my rock. I can't lose you. You guys got to go with me. So when we were on our way up there, it felt like everything, my van was going to the right. And all the rain and everything, it was pretty scary.
So again, the rain really coming down now in Barnsdall. We've been here for a couple hours, and this is by far the heaviest it is. So I'm going to try to get off television real quick. Once the daylight comes out, some crews are going to be able to do a better job of surveying this scene, and we'll have a better idea of what it's going to look like. We'll also be live here in our morning show on 2 News. For now, reporting live in Barnsdall, I'm Brody Myers, 2 News, Oklahoma.
Yeah. So anyway, word to the wise, if there's a tornado coming through, you're not going to see me outside on Channel 2 News talking about trampolines or my anchor hawking casserole dish. Not going to hear it. Sorry. Love you guys, but it's not going to happen. So let's get to the show. I've had a lot of comments since last week's show about Sebastian. What could have happened to him? Well, for one, we know that 4 people, meaning Katie and Chris, that's 2 of them, let's do the math, have changed their story a lot. And I mean a lot. It has been rumored that Katie is extra horny. And so while Chris is away, Katie will play. Same with Chris. I have a lot of questions. We heard from Nina, Chris's ex-wife, on Trev's channel. I believe what she had to say is extremely relevant. And victims should never be shamed. Neither should Trevor. I think about the Summer Wells case with Jeannie and Mary. And a lot of people were extremely upset that they were speaking out. They were extremely upset with the creators that were having them on. Why can't victims speak for themselves? Why can't it come out of the horse's mouth? You hear some creators going, it's so much drama. It's just all the drama, so much drama, so much drama. That drama is called red flags that led up to a tragedy. I was listening to her again on Trev Time this morning, and I was just furious. at what people are saying. Well, she's an ex. She's going to make anything up. Nina let us know that Chris Proudfeet's parents, they ride along with whatever he's doing. Why, I don't know. He's supposedly never home, works out of town. However, he was going to switch one kid for the other. Sebastian's going to go to Chris Proudfeet, and he wanted custody of his daughter, Faith. Why? Was Katie going to take care of her? I don't think so. I want to know why his parents, again, the title of the show is called The Escape Club, why they drove to Alaska after Sebastian disappeared. You don't leave when a child is missing, or any part of your family. You don't leave. Seems to me that the Bauer and Proudfeet family have done nothing but wreak havoc on anyone that decides to bed down with Chris Proudfoot. They're enablers. Who in here, besides Grandis, Can't, and Dawn, would just up and leave when you know a very vulnerable member of your family is missing without a trace? Who? The only way I could be away is if I'm on a gurney getting ready to have open heart surgery. Britt said Nina was authentic in my opinion. From experience is how I determined that. She told her story. She wasn't asked any questions. She just told her story. Christina said, Brooks, can you turn on CC? No, it will not come on until after the show. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Let's get to the comments. Carol Ann said, as usual, you are so spot on, Brooks. Never could you go out for a meal or whatever if your baby was missing, particularly a mother. Not only that, they went to the damn Cracker Barrel for Easter. I'm not saying they can't have food. I'm not saying they can't shove anything in their face. No pun intended, Katie. What I'm saying is, don't be seen out having a good damn time when little Sebastian is missing. User 502S, whatever that means. My family are long line snake handlers. There's no way that young man should not have been allowed to have a snake that big around his neck. That was an accident waiting to happen. I've seen weird cases that they should never be alone with a snake. Now, according to the Proudfeet family, the snakes were sold, the snakes were gone. Do we believe them? I don't know. I don't know. Runs with Scissors said, I get the feeling that Katie was out and Sebastian was looking for her. I've wondered that myself. I really have. Microwave said, this has too many similarities to the cop in New York that punished his son. I don't like to compare cases, but I do see a similarity. So let's please look at that.
Good evening at 5 o'clock. I'm Sade Better-Wong.
And I'm Bill Ritter. Investigators say Michael Valva left his son in the garage in freezing temperatures at their home on Long Island, and that killed him.
Now he and his fiancee are charged in the third grader's death. Long Island reporter Kristen Thorne is live in Central Islip, where the couple just appeared in court today. Kristen?
Sade and Bill, Michael Valva and Angela Polina have been ordered to be held without bail. Prosecutors say investigators reviewed surveillance cameras.
Okay. Katie said, thank you, Britt. I don't know why he walked out that door. Like, what, Katie? He never goes outside? That's a huge red flag. Criminal Med said, I don't think he left that house, in my opinion. Crystal said, think it was 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It was 24. So for people to say that it was warm and toasty in the garage, no. And I'm not saying that's what happened. But there was some extreme punishment in that home. Belts, a limited cell phone, and I have zero problem with the limited cell phone. Withholding food. There were extreme punishments. And I'm only going through this to show where these extreme punishments can go.
Cameras from inside the couple's home, that the couple had a camera inside the garage that was labeled kids room, and that 2 days prior to Thomas's death, video showed Thomas and his brother sleeping inside the garage, shivering.
It shouldn't get to the point that my son lost his life to actually, for somebody to do something.
Justina Zupko Valva says no one listened to her or her 8-year-old son, Thomas Valva, about alleged abuse at the hands of Thomas's father, Michael Valva. The 40-year-old NYPD officer and his fiancée, Angela Polina, have been charged with murder. Police say last week the couple left the boy, who had autism, overnight in the garage of their Center Moriches home when it was only 19 degrees out.
At the time of his arrival at the hospital, Thomas's body temperature was 76 degrees.
Police say Thomas also had facial and head injuries. Michael Valva had told police Thomas had fallen in the driveway and was knocked unconscious. He created a GoFundMe page which raised $14,000 for Thomas's funeral. In it, Michael Valva describes the death of his son as a, quote, tragic accident. But police believe Valva and Polina routinely left Thomas and his 10-year-old brother in the garage as a form of punishment.
So many people involved here that took a part of protecting the abuser instead of protecting my children.
Zupko Valva says school staff in the East Moriches School District had contacted CPS about Thomas and signs of physical abuse. They also noted he and his brother were suffering from food deprivation and were visibly dirty. Zupko Valva shared with us this video, which she says is one of the many things she tried to show authorities. In it, Thomas can be seen punching, kicking, and trying to get away from his father.
We are going to look at every interaction that this child had with the system.
I do not believe the bed in the garage just showed up. I'm sorry, I don't. Conveniently given to Chris Proudfeet after Sebastian's miraculous vanishing. The box of snacks makes no sense to me because I feel like kids should have free range of the kitchen. But that's just me. We all know that kids will eat you out of house and home. All right? What is the just a thud? Just heard a thud. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, today, the Sheriff's Office, Sumner County Sheriff's Office, will be providing an update in the search for missing teen Sebastian Rogers today. They said there is no update in the search for missing teen with autism. I really wish they would quit putting that autism label on him. Not that there's anything wrong with having autism, but he's smart. He is smart. Cece, thank you. The mattress, the shoes, the thud, the 3-hour phone conversation. Something is not adding up. Something's not adding up. Sheriff's Office said at this time we have no new developments to report. However, we understand the importance of keeping the public informed, and we want to ensure you that the investigation into Mr. Rogers' disappearance remains ongoing. I do believe them. Now, I don't have a lot of faith in the investigations that were open on Sebastian. The cat's out of the bag now because Seth knows about the CPS investigations. I believe he should have been informed before. What is pissing me off about the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation? It's a rinse and repeat. It is a copy and paste. Let me show you. We ask the public to help us by refraining from sharing speculation posted by or discussed by non-official sources and reporting only credible tips or information to 1-800-TBI-FIND. This exact statement was used in this case. Summer Wells. At this stage in the investigation, there are few clues to indicate what happened to Sebastian or where he may be. There is not proof at this time that there is any criminal element involved in his disappearance, but also there is not any proof that there is not a criminal element involved. So agents and investigators are reviewing any possibility at all that may indicate where Sebastian is. They changed that one a little bit because with Summer, they said they can't rule out foul play. Again, there's Summer. In order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we cannot discuss many of the specifics. We got that. We didn't ask. But we know how many people care about Sebastian and what has been done and is still being done to bring him home. Also, we want to caution the public about putting too much stock into information being presented in various media forms that is inaccurate or incomplete and could be damaging to the investigation. We heard this in Summer's case. Well, I don't expect the case file. I am waiting. We're going to have another Jody Sue in this. Lisa K. Ruitz is going to wind up being his great aunt. She's going to wind up, she has gone to school with him. She's lived there or something. But the rinse repeat is driving me insane. Driving me insane. Do better. I understand you're not searching and you've switched to an investigative strategy. I don't need to know the investigation. No one does. I think it is sus AF, though, that Christopher Proudfoot couldn't stick around the house and they took off to Mississippi, then came back up, went back again, and that the doting, supposedly grandparents took off to Alaska. I also want to know why this nutbag is putting her 2 cents in. Jennifer Coffindaffer. She said, as I mentioned, it all will come out. All of these parents hurt Sebastian Rogers. She even hashtagged it. She said, why haven't I posted them? Because the main point is Sebastian had no one to run to. No, not even his bio dad. The hell he didn't. Let's just say that he was put out in the garage as punishment. His daddy would have been there in a heartbeat. He's the only one looking for him in that family. She said, I hope he ran from a bad environment and is found alive. His mom was the last to see him. But was she? We really don't know. Ellie knows. Ellie doesn't know. If they did, it'd be solved. Dumbass. Ellie hasn't named any of the parents as persons of interest, so let's hope he just took off. Yeah, let's hope. That's a great story. I am so sad that Sebastian was hurt by those who should have loved him. How could anyone hurt a child with special needs? We need to ask all of these parents. This woman has hurt so many people. She is one of the people that basically incited a riot against Brandy Neal and Tyler Vaughn. And that's with her supposed FBI retired experience. Let me show you who also is on her tweet thread. Burton Staggs. If you remember him, he caused all kinds of chaos in the Summer Wells case. He said, I've been sent documents from a California court that levels serious allegations against the bio dad of Sebastian. As many of you have posted, there are concerning allegations against the stepfather. Okay, stepfather or father? He says bio dad. He said insane things during the Summer Wells case too. Then here comes Vern Gilbert, who put up a billboard for Summer. He said, I've been posting this message for 2 weeks now. In my opinion, it is the best message we can send. Please stay positive. Someone knows Sebastian is listed on NCMEC website. They are fully aware of this case. Yeah, they are. You don't need Vern in it. And I hate to say it, but since Jennifer Coffendaffer decided to cast judgment, shame, and point the finger at Seth Rogers, she once again won Idiot of the Week. What to do? What to do? I just can't believe it. Well, here's some facts for you, and then I'm going to bring up, we have some people backstage that want to come up and give their theory. Of course, it'll be opinion only. And I'm going to drop the link. Anybody that wants to come up and talk, here's the facts.
In the case of Sebastian Rogers, the missing autistic 15-year-old, it's a case we have followed closely since he disappeared.
We care what happens next, just like you. And now 1 week after Sebastian vanished from his Sumner County home, authorities are scaling back the search effort, and they are now calling it an investigation.
Nick Barra shares the latest details, and we also hear for the first time.
You know, this is so important because the scent wasn't necessarily Sebastian's. Oh, there's just so much going on here. The United Cajun Navy. You know, I'm done with their asses. If Seth wants them around, fine. This is not my case, not my child. But if your volunteers are scared of internet trolls, they're not worth your time. Law enforcement is not searching. They have switched to investigating. That's a big difference. Big difference. And anytime law enforcement scales back a search, it's because they have information we don't have. Some of these people, in my opinion, quit searching because the money is not there anymore. Seth just wants his son.
Publicly today from the missing teen's mother and stepfather.
The original thinking was that Sebastian Rogers left home on his own, but the fact that he disappeared without a trace now has authorities looking into the very real possibility of foul play. Consider 7 days of intense searching from the ground and air. Hundreds of officers and citizens, bloodhounds, and nothing. No security video of the teen and no trace of Sebastian.
We're used to producing, and this is one of those cases that we haven't been able to produce yet.
No one is giving up. Sebastian could still be alive somewhere, alone, hurt, lost, or trapped. The search effort will continue, but
we're scaling it back a little bit.
What exactly does that mean? Well, sources close to the case confirm authorities are now considering foul play and that this missing teen case could become a criminal investigation. Sebastian's mother and stepfather broke their silence, talking about how he disappeared from their home overnight a week ago Sunday. The two spoke on a YouTube podcast called Missing Tennessee with Duchess.
And when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
Between the hours of, 12 and 6, he has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked and gone.
Just got gone. The press conference is at 11 a.m. today. It's not going to be, they said, not anything major. Let's bring up our friend Joy, because she has a lot to say about this case. Round of applause for Joy. All right, Joy, your first time on panel. You are a moderator, so glad you're here. You have a lot to say about this case. Ilyanka said, yeah, scale back a search, but then search a landfill in another state with a probable cause affidavit. They said they found nothing, but we don't know. What do you think, Joy?
All right. Is this a new landfill? It's not the first landfill?
Oh, no, this is from Kentucky.
Okay, that landfill. Okay, and that is the construction site, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the beside the house. All right. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Sebastian left on his own. And what? Okay. How long after he left did they get that scent? I don't remember exactly.
As far as I know, he vanished without a trace. There's no scent.
Okay, so the scent is called off too. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to Trevor about weeks ago. I said to Trevor, I I assumed that he wandered off and they would just find him soon. Mm-hmm. And I said, the more that the minutes tick, it looks like foul play to me.
Yes.
Because if the dogs aren't tracking anything, any scent, dogs don't lie, we have a problem.
Yes.
And if you really want to find someone in a landfill, well, you got to kind of do what they did in the Quentin Simon case.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily up in the landfill. And
well, something got investigators to go there, and they don't normally do that. Sometimes they say it's precautionary.
Right.
Yeah, okay, but
there may have been something in the garbage. I don't know. I feel like, in my opinion, Katie should be looked into a little more. I don't feel she's as innocent.
Well, according to her, she was the only one home.
Exactly. So her being home, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't believe they were on the phone speaking to each other. Gosh. So, and then they say the garbage was heavier. Is that correct? That day it was heavier too?
They said the trash was unusually heavy that day. Now, I don't know who said that, but okay, Criminal Med said the garbage was heavier per the garbage man.
Well, was there, I wonder if there, okay, here I go on a whole different, wonder if there was any smell that they could have, you know, if any smell would have turned them to tip off about the landfill too.
Well, I mean, they have a different way to investigate than I
That's
do.
a whole nother thing. Great. I'm on a whole nother level now, Brooks.
Supposedly Sebastian's the one that carried out the garbage. Now, this is
we've not seen that though, have we?
Well, no, and we're not going to see it.
Right.
They don't put that stuff out. I think the problem here is we're not talking about Ben Hill Road anymore.
Exactly. Yes, this place has cameras. That neighborhood has cameras. I'm sorry. I don't know for a fact. Like when my husband was younger, he used to deliver pizzas out in that area. And my father-in-law lived out there for a little while. And like 9 minutes down the road, it wasn't in that neighborhood, but if he was seen, he was on, I mean, if he left, he was on camera. He wouldn't have just been. So he couldn't have left on his own. That's it.
I think my thought process is we have extreme punishment at the home. I don't believe that the corporal punishment was just one time.
No.
I have seen pictures of Sebastian. I saw one particularly where it looked like it was a thumbprint on his neck.
Yes. Now, I wanted to ask you if you thought, I thought it did look like a bruise too on there. And
It
I
looked
could
like
see
a healing bruise.
Right. Exactly.
We have heard from Nina Gomez, who said that she was not comfortable at all with the way that Chris Proudfeedy disciplined her children. She did not like it at all. And she stood up to him, and it was quite, the saga.
Right. Bless her heart.
Katie did not stand up for Sebastian.
And okay, I'm just going to say, I have a little daughter, how that woman left her house at all, twice in 1 week to go eat. I haven't even done that. But none, I mean,
they went to Texas Roadhouse. Of course, they had the colossal popcorn. On Easter, they were at Cracker Barrel. I'm like, okay, did you run into Kathy the friend when you were there as well?
Yes, exactly. And I had wrote down some questions. So, and I heard Chris and Seth were the ones to text each other more or talk more.
That part I do not know, but I think it's very odd that when Sebastian went missing, Katie called Chris Proudfeet, who is supposedly 3 hours and 37 minutes away, as opposed to her ex, who is Sebastian's daddy and also in law enforcement. Why wouldn't you call him first? I can't find our son.
Yes, that's
first.
I've asked Richie that over and over and over. Like, what would your step be? Like, what would your step be? if something happened to our daughter or me.
Mhm.
And like, we come from a firefighting family, and so he's got a little of that in his background, but still, you do a little, like, I don't
But why not get a hold of someone as close to you as possible?
exactly.
No sense. Why not go door to door to the neighbors? Have you seen Sebastian? Have you seen
Yes.
Sebastian? Have you seen Sebastian? Have you seen Sebastian? You call dickhead in Memphis and say, can't find Sebastian. Why not go door to door?
Exactly. I'm in a
Because it
wheelchair, and
didn't
I would
happen.
get my
It
ass out
didn't
way to go find my daughter. I
Mhm.
will bump up your steps on my ass to knock on your door. That infuriates me too. And we're from Tennessee. So I have my thoughts on that too. Why?
It's because they already had a CPS investigation on them. It's because Katie and Chris, their marriage was already on the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Was
That right there.
out to alert Seth that there's problems on the home front because he didn't know.
Yep.
Why not just call the police on your own? Hell, I called them about my missing cat.
I know. I know. If my duck was missing, I'd probably call.
Some of the neighbors didn't even know he was missing until they saw the police cars.
Are you kidding?
You have a whole row of homes.
Wow.
Ring cams. You've got the whole 9 yards right there.
Exactly.
Every frigging door. Why not knock on them? The worst they're going to say is, get out of my face, get off my property.
Yeah, right? I don't care. You can tell me to F off or whatever you want to tell me, but
anytime I see a parent that doesn't go into immediate panic mode,
mm-hmm.
I mean animal instinct to protect what's theirs.
You got that right.
Suspicious. All right, let's look at the rest of this real quick.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Authorities have named no suspects and say that to date, the parents have fully cooperated with the investigation. Detectives now will re-interview and vet everyone that had contact with Sebastian, looking for any inconsistencies. And they are asking the public to provide any Ring camera videos, not just from Sunday night when they believe he disappeared, but of anything suspicious of much earlier in the day. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
We're going to stay on the
And we have also heard that the 2 lights are actually a garbage truck. Now let's put all this together.
Now okay, I'm a little upset with Nick about that. Like, what? That started a whole big mess. But on the other hand, why is the clock on, and then the clock on their camera sticking for 15 minutes at the time they were taking the garbage out? Isn't that right?
I don't know the exact time, but time is so important in these cases. Yes. And Seth spoke about a congenital issue that Sebastian has on his head.
Oh.
It really makes me wonder what's going on.
I forgot all about that. I remember hearing it at one point and no one else really speaking on it any further after. I forgot.
I don't know enough about that.
Right.
I need to ask Angel P. But both Katie and Chris Proudfoot, there is a line of violence on both of them.
Oh, I agree with you. I believe, in my opinion, there is both. I don't think she, in my opinion, I don't believe that Katie is as treated as badly as Nina was. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I feel like her actions with her child missing in this scenario has, I just don't see her in the predicament like Nina, that type. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I have seen some posts where people say Katie is not a nice person. To me, she's very flat when she talks.
Yes.
She doesn't have emotions that a mother would have. Maybe a doctor gave her medication. I don't know. But
Well,
they're
even on medication, I'm sorry, but I feel like you'd have something. I don't know.
Well, my question is, okay, their marriage was on a rocky road. There are rumored affairs on both ends. There's one guy that's actually speaking a little bit, saying that, when old Chrissy Poo was out of town, he would sneak in and lay the pipe to Katie. Okay, fine.
Right.
We have another situation. We have a child that's missing. A child is missing, 15 or not, he is a child.
Mm-hmm.
Why are these two sticking together like Velcro?
That's it. Yes.
And we have two parents, Katie and Chris, that use their children as weapons against
that's really coming out. Money, all about the money and the family. And they don't care about the kids in the end. And this is all about finding Sebastian, finding a voice for Nina. We aren't here. We are here to bring awareness, and that just makes me upset. Because that poor little boy, he saw so much. And I wonder what all he was saying at school. What was he telling school?
Well, according to Chris, he always had issues at school, and that's where his lies came from. Well, get real. I used to tell my parents all kinds of stuff happened at school. So shut up. It was extreme punishment. Katie is void of emotion. Their marriage was on the rocks. Again, I want to know, what was the plan here? If he was fighting like hell to get custody of his daughter, Faith, and she was okay with Sebastian going to his father, what is the problem? Why did Sebastian have to go away?
They were scared of what, in my opinion, they're scared of what he was going to tell Seth. They didn't want Seth knowing something. In my opinion,
I think they didn't want Sebastian saying anything about Chris and the way he punishes him, so he could get custody of Faith. That's my opinion. Go ahead.
Right. Oh, no, you're fine. But okay, so why did they want Faith though?
I think it's a possession thing. We saw it in
all about just having them.
Yeah,
them in their
it could be it could be child support. It could be a lot of things.
And then he doesn't like if someone isn't, in my opinion, he doesn't like it if someone's not of his race or sex or age or no, and I think because I don't think he liked Sebastian very much due to his capabilities. His special capabilities, how smart he was, is how I'm going to put it.
Oh, I think he was extremely smart, and I think that actually scared the hell out of Chris because he thought he could keep his thumb on him, but he couldn't. Now we look at the issues of Nina, and I believe her.
Oh, me too.
Put a 1 in the chat if you believe Nina. Put a 2 if you're kind of on the fence. I believe her. And you don't have to believe what I believe. I think because she fought Chris and his family so hard, I think it was a control thing. I really F her over. I'm going to get Faith.
Yes.
She didn't like the way I punished her kids. I'm going to show her.
Yeah.
She had the nerve to get the authorities after me. I'm going to
get them after
her.
her. Revenge. And, well, have we heard anything from the Payne family? Katie's biological family, I guess?
Nope, they're all part of the escape club.
Okay. I want to know about them. I would love to hear about them. Is she actually from Virginia, or did she just live there? Are her parents from Tennessee? Are they from Mississippi?
Wherever they're from, it doesn't really matter to me because we haven't heard a damn thing from them. Not on their Facebooks, not anywhere. I want to know why Chris Proudfeet, his parents, decided to take their goofy looking asses up to Alaska, take pictures having a great time, and don't even give a shit that no one can find Sebastian. Why?
Absolutely.
Then I listened to Nina and about the hell those people gave her. Let's bring up Thomas. He's got a theory. Let's have a round of applause real quick for Thomas. Welcome, Thomas. Now I know you have a theory on what happened to Sebastian.
Yes, I do, Brooke. And it goes along the line that you've been trying to put out in the segue before you pulled me up. I truly think that this case, in Chris's eyes, has to do with revenge against Nina and his daughter in his custody.
Okay, go ahead. You cut out a little bit. What is your theory?
Yes, Brooke. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you perfectly. Everyone, say hi to Thomas.
Good morning, Thomas.
Brooke. Hey, Joy. I've been going over this case for quite a while since it started, and I've been trying to come up with a motive. And until Nina had came up and told her horrifying, heartbreaking story, what she went through with this monster and this manipulative and deceitful family that she was dealing with, I couldn't come up with one. But after hearing this story, I think it all has to do with revenge and a way to get Faith back in his custody.
And the question is, why would Katie go along with it, considering Sebastian is her son?
She is controlled by Chris. I mean, you can see it in all the interviews that she does. You can see it in her face.
She looks very flat, like no emotion. She looks over her shoulder quite a bit, and I don't understand why.
And Chris is always staring at her like for intimidation purposes. But
Well,
yeah, if just think about it like this, Brooke. If there was abuse going on in that house with Katie and Chris and Sebastian, and he's already admitted to hitting him with a belt, which I think is much more than one time. But if Sebastian was there to give an account of what was going on in the household, then he wouldn't have a snowball's chance in hell of getting his daughter back if a CPS case was open.
Well, and there was already a CPS case going on, and we've heard that in some other cases where, you know, when the government's weighing down on you, it becomes quite the problem for some people. They could have easily just said, Seth, come get Sebastian and we'll duke it out.
Exactly.
Maybe it was kind of a heat of the moment. Punishment went too far.
Yes, in my opinion.
But I think it's all about revenge to Nina because of what happened in the court case and Nina beating him and taking her daughter back from him because he is a very controlling person.
Well, that was a bad chess move that they played because with a child missing and foul play suspected, he doesn't have a snowball's chance in Cuba. Let's look at this for just a second. It's just about their behavior. I do really enjoy Peter Hyatt. And I think that he has a lot to say. Before we get to it, let's please thank Kimberly Mann for making it rain. And just remember, with Sebastian missing, it would not help Chris at all. What happened in that home? And with everything Nina said, it is extremely relevant as to what has been going on in that house with the punishment, which I think was extremely extreme. It has been said that Katie is not a nice person and she will fly off the handle. What was going on inside that house? I give up on him wandering off.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely no.
That he just walked away. And if he did, what was he running from?
That's exactly it.
To pick and choose what he would like to answer when they ask a multi-compound question or go on in a moralistic sense. Okay? There's no reason to moralize in a case like this. A child is missing. We want the information. But when they ask a multi-compound question, very likely the subject of the interview, if he is showing deceit, which Chris is now, he's going to pick up on one of those things and use it for an answer because they're suggesting answers. So it's frustrating. They don't know that they don't have.
He's right. It's a guessing game. They suggest the answers. I am so tired of the autistic 15-year-old. He is smart.
Yes.
They're trying to make it sound like he rubs shit on his face and doesn't know how to dress himself. He's extremely smart. He reminds me of my youngest son, who, yes, socially has a lot of autistic characteristics. He's extremely smart. Extremely. I saw someone in one of these groups that kept calling him Rain Man.
No.
Shut the front door. He's extremely smart. If he did get out of that house that night, which he didn't do it on his own,
Right.
would have found his way right back. He knows numbers, his father's number by memory.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who doesn't even know her own phone number? Me. Me.
I mean, 5-year-olds know their number nowadays.
Everything is computerized.
Yes.
Training in that. And they'll go on about some personal experience and they think they're building rapport. Not with him. I said recently to someone, I've interviewed him 100 times. I haven't interviewed him. What I mean by that is I've hundreds of times interviewed controlled abusers. And almost always they're a step parent or a boyfriend. And his language gives us a lot. So this morning I was listening to yet another interview, and the usual frustration of some of it is tainted by the interviewer. Fast forward past the interviewer's monologue, it could be difficult to get any type of a pure answer. When he goes off for himself, then we get some. And this time, and you're seeing it more now, she's allowed to speak, and speak she does. So there's some things I want to talk about that, and some of the things they said that are revelatory. So I posted on X, which was Twitter, short commentary, a little bit of analysis, that sort of thing about my views of the case. In their initial interview, they were not just repetitive, which is sensitive, but they spoke reliably that he walked out the door. And of course,
He's exactly right. They spoke reliably that he walked out the door. They didn't see him. There's nothing on camera. It would be solved by now. Now, the 3-hour phone conversation.
Oh, Lord.
I can call you right now, Joy, and just leave it there and we don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
He said himself, 3 hours and 37 minutes.
I don't look at the exact.
How do we know that phone wasn't sitting wherever he was while he was driving to the house to do something? I don't know. But
There
the
you go.
exact minutes of the conversation, something went down that night, obviously.
Maybe the TBI is looking into that now. Maybe, but I don't know how they could, pinpoint it without getting Sebastian or, let's say, one of the parents on camera, or I'm still saying there are cameras. And wait a minute. Okay. Now, at one time I heard she would park inside the garage. Is that correct?
Personal car, the Brinks van was parked outside. But they keep leaning on this 3-hour phone call. How do we know that her phone wasn't laying on the bed and his phone wasn't in Memphis?
There you go. Right there. In my opinion, I think that is also a very likely scenario. That was probably in the mix. And in my opinion, I feel like Katie went a little too far somewhere.
Get my husband on the phone for 3 hours. I don't care.
Oh, hell no.
I don't give a shit what it is. He doesn't have 3 hours for shit on the phone.
No. No, I
And
can
these
talk to you.
two don't even
Fine.
like each other. They're screwing other people.
Exactly. Exactly. So why would they want to even be on the phone together for 3 hours?
Mhm.
There's no relationship really. I mean, unless they're just, fuck buddies. And then they're married. I mean,
They're
yeah,
not
there's a
even doing that.
financial
They
aspect.
they had other play people, and on top of that, Nina was under the impression they were separated.
Oh, I didn't hear
According to her.
that. I bet they were in the process of separating.
Oh yeah, they were definitely on the last legs of their marriage. I mean, he's a 5-time loser. She's not exactly
Not winning the lottery with them.
lucky in love, but they're on the phone for 3 hours. I want to take a second. Pat. C-Care said, you're cutting in and out. Yes, I am. We are having another storm. It is springtime in Oklahoma. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. All right. Well, I apologize. We had all those tornadoes, and it's going to be that way probably all spring. I am so sorry.
They're moving in here now.
Okay. You can hear me.
Yes.
But 3 hours on the phone. He's trying to get custody of Faith. She's turning custody of Sebastian over to Seth.
Mm-hmm. The children shouldn't be an issue.
Well, the children were a huge issue in marriage.
Right.
A huge issue. Now, one issue that I have with this, and we won't know for a very, very, very long time. If I'm talking to you for 3 hours, I'm going to be moving all over my house.
Yes.
I've got to see, I've got to get something to drink, I've got to eat. I think about the Vallow case. I think about the Stout case. I think about the Morphew case. I think about many of them. Mm-hmm. And they could tell in the house where they moved around while they were on the phone. So if the phone was just sitting in Memphis and her phone is just sitting on the bed,
then the cops would have to see that. I mean, because I put in my maps yesterday, my address, and it showed my little dot, and I moved my phone, even just laying in the bed from one side of the bed to the other, and the little blue dot moved across the screen. So even just waving my arm around, it moves my signal, whether it's Wi-Fi or pings, I'm not sure, but
well, and pings are off the towers, but they can tell where that phone moves around. We spoke about that on the show yesterday. Pings are more of a location, and they can come from basically any tower around you. Who the hell knows where my ping is from right now?
I know when you said yesterday where you thought it was, I was like, well, where is mine?
Exactly. But this case is so concerning.
That time frame is crucial, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
What training will question about why a door, and the door is very sensitive. As they're speaking now, they're still staying to that. And consider they may be telling the truth. And what they're maybe concealing, what I believe they're concealing, is an altercation of some form and an escalation that was more than just that Sunday. That goes back and part of the history for at least, I think, at least 2 years. And I'll get to some of that questions. So one of the things I posted on X was that Child Protective Services should be fully engaged here in a full investigation, and they should interview everyone, including the paternal grandmother, Seth's mother. She has said she has information. She needs to be interviewed. She needs to be heard. She should have been interviewed by law enforcement, but no less, Child Protective Services know that. One of the things that happens with a missing child.
I can't agree more. Not that Seth's mother has anything to do with Sebastian's disappearance, but she has been vocal and she has been loud. She is wonderful. And when she said, I so appreciate Nina coming out and telling her story, I thought that was so important for her to do, because as we know around the YouTube streets, people are slamming her.
Sad.
She's another Jeannie and Mary. Trevor is now a tragedy pimp. Well, look who he hangs out with. Of course he's going to do this. This is about Sebastian. And when someone can show the red flags that led up to it, it's important.
Absolutely agree. I commend Trevor. He did an outstanding job, and he wasn't even on the screen. That lady, that woman gave her life story, and that is hers to tell. No one needs to talk bad about her or Trevor. He's not out here trying to hustle money. He is out on his feet looking for this child, and has been, and other children, unlike biological parents.
Someone asked what time the press conference is. In about 45 minutes. They said there's no actual update. They said it's just letting the public know what's going on. It's very concerning, the entire thing. I can't make sense of it. And I just think it's sad that when people are trying to do the right thing, it's taken the wrong way.
Yes.
And as far as whether Trevor is monetized or not, I'm going to say this right now. He'd be an idiot to work for free.
Well, absolutely. Do you think Nick Barris is for free? And he's not even out. I don't know what he's doing. I'm sorry.
And Trevor is not an idiot.
No, he's not.
And
No.
I have talked to him about this for months. I'm like, let me tell you something. If you're going to drive around putting up flyers, printing flyers, nobody works for free. Who in here works for free? Who in here goes to their local grocery store and says, hey, I need a week's worth of groceries? And they're like, sure, it's free.
Yeah.
Nothing's for free. How ridiculous for anyone to judge him and say he's taking money. If somebody wants to donate, they can donate.
Right.
Ridiculous.
It's their money. It's their money. Let them do what they want to do with it.
Child case. You say, well, why would Child Protective Services get involved in a missing child case? Because we don't know what caused the child to go missing. Now, let's say the child is a victim of kidnapping. Were the parents neglectful that someone was able to get into the house? Well, how could they be neglectful if someone broke into their house? Perhaps they were intoxicated. These are things that have to be known. Also, patterns of behavior have to be known. So the interviews would be, with a missing child case, to find out if that child is found, should that child go back to this house again? Now, I covered quite a bit a while back on Summer Wells' case.
Okay, now we're getting into it. Here's the question. Let's say Sebastian wanders out of the woods, wherever he's at. Should he go back to that home?
No. Well, he probably would because it's probably the only.
No, I don't mean that. Would he be pulled
Oh.
back with them?
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not.
The history is out with Katie. The history is out with Chris.
Mm-hmm.
We know the games that they have played with their own children. When courts get involved and say, no, 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 shame on you, and the government's involved in your child rearing, there is a problem. There is a huge problem. Thomas is backstage. We lost him earlier. Let's see what he's up to. Hello, Thomas. Sorry we missed you.
Hey, bro.
What's up, Thomas?
I was just listening to what y'all were discussing.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, we know how deceitful and how deceitful and manipulative that Chris's family is, because Nina experienced that. And at the time that Sebastian went missing, we had no clue that was even going on until she came out with her story.
Which was, in my opinion, was very
it
rough.
helped the investigation.
I would think so. I am curious.
It helps the investigation.
Well, I'm curious as to why she's never been talked to before.
I don't know. I guess I have no idea. That would be one of the first people that TBI should be going after, is the exes, to find out Chris's past and how he was in previous relationships.
Well, I mean, the good way to tell the future is look at someone's past.
Didn't they say Katie had been violent with Seth?
Exactly.
Yeah, she has a violent past as well.
The other day, another
would invite all
channel.
sorts of trouble onto that property. And then there was the language from the father that indicated sexual abuse. And it was a really bad case. And she's still technically missing. So we want to know, is the child in jeopardy if the child returns to this home? So we need to know what the home is like. We need to know the quality of the relationship between mother and child. We need to learn the history. That means, in this particular case, mother, stepfather, bio dad, grandparents, aunts, uncles, teachers, coaches, pediatrician, neighbors, anyone. And one of the questions is asked, do you have concerns? And what you may learn is, yeah, we've had concerns. Or no, I don't let my own son go over there, and hear the reasons why. And so it's not accusatory towards anyone. It's the gathering of information. We need to know. And so in interviewing a pediatrician, for instance, have you had concerns? He opens the chart and maybe there's red marks there. I've addressed them. And my follow-up question to the pediatrician would be, have you met the stepfather? What was your impression? Because he leaves quite an impression.
He does leave quite an impression. I'm going to ask Joy real quick. Joy, what was your first impression of Chris Proudfoot? Nope, we lost Joy. Thomas. Thomas is muted. All right, I'm going to ask all of you if you can hear me because we're under a watch right now. Just Me said narcissist. Joy, what was your first impression of Chris Proudfoot?
Oh gosh. Well, I think one of the first times I saw him was on Smiley's. And so I noticed I commented somewhere about the way he said the word discipline. Something about that. Now, and then so the way he said that did something, made me feel a way. And then when hold on, I just lost my train of thought. And now with Nina, and then the pictures with Sebastian and his neck, which I know it's just allegedly, and then the picture of his arm.
In my opinion, it's not allegedly. I can clearly see marks on his neck.
Yes, I mean, I do too, and I just don't want anyone coming saying we were saying, but yes, I agree. I believe that is a hand mark on his neck. I believe those are scratch marks on his arm. I have a kid with nails, and she doesn't scratch me on purpose, but it happens, and that's a lot. That's the area we play with right there on your forearm.
Something is going on are they testing those scratches? Because law enforcement can tell if they have come from an animal or a person. Supposedly, Chris Proudfoot hadn't been home in a month. So what are those scratches on him?
And when is he ever here long enough for law enforcement to even talk to him? He's out looking for work so much.
He's a crane operator in Memphis. This is exactly what I thought the first time I heard him talk.
Drive a narcissistic person in a relationship are power, control, and domination. And the narcissistic person uses the relationship as a source of validation. If those needs are not being met or cannot be achieved, that is a contributor to the volatility of these relationships.
Let's listen to it again.
Thank you.
Drive a narcissistic person in a relationship are power, control, and domination. And the narcissistic person uses the relationship as a source of validation. If those needs are not being met or cannot be achieved, that is a contributor to the volatility of these relationships.
And he has a need not being met.
Exactly. I agree. Let's look at we have a little bit of background noise on your end, Joy.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Sometimes people don't know. But I mean, you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
He has been volatile.
Yes.
With everyone. There is a reason he is a 5-time loser.
Absolutely. And he only has one. I was also looking into how many children he had. He only biologically has one with one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't. I don't think he wanted kids actually, and now I believe he's using them as his pawns.
He wanted Nina to have an abortion with Faith, and she's like, no way. Her family said no way. He used to cut her daughter's nails down to the quick.
I didn't hear that part.
Yep.
I never cut my daughter's nails as a baby because I was terrified of that.
Well, she wasn't a baby,
Oh,
but
she wasn't even a baby? And that's awful.
why was he cutting a child's nails?
That and why? Yeah, I mean, we don't even cut them now. So I'm like, what? And why the father? Why my husband, unless I told him,
He's a stepfather. Remember,
the stepfather. Out of all people in the family, the stepfather. What's up with that? Or no, wait. He did it to Sebastian or Faith?
No. Chris Proudfoot would cut Nina's daughter's nails.
Oh, the older one. Oh my. Okay, yeah, exactly what I just said. Why the stepfather?
And in my opinion, any man that wants to force an abortion on a woman should have no rights to that child.
100%.
Either way.
Yeah.
All right.
They sign away the birth, just father is blank if you even say that to me. Sorry, but that's just me. I've been through.
And his arrogance, his narcissism, he's always the victim.
That's it. See, that's another. He. I don't know.
Since your son went missing, how are you feeling today?
Same as I was yesterday. Just continuing the search, continue looking. I'm not going to give up. Nobody can make me give up.
And where have you been searching? Where do you think he is?
I've been searching everywhere. I mean, anything out of that 5-mile radius that the initial search did, they covered everything there. But there's stuff elsewhere. I mean, we got a lot of territory to cover. And it being over a month, he could be anywhere currently. So I'm searching everywhere.
You, Katie, and Chris had a meeting with TBI today. Did you find out any new information?
Not that I can discuss.
Any progression that might show hope in this search?
Oh, I always have hope. Can't take that away from me.
And how confident are you that Sebastian is alive, and what do you think he's doing right now?
Pretty sure he's probably playing video games somewhere. Nobody's letting him, whoever's got him, they're not letting him see the regular news.
He has faith that his son is out there. He has faith. Does he not break your heart, Joy?
Oh, I've cried with that man. I think he lost it. I don't remember whose live he was on, but he lost it. I lost it. He's so precious. But bless his heart. And I think having faith and having hope is great. That could keep him motivated, for one. I personally don't believe Sebastian is with us any longer. I hate to say that, but
the question is, why would the mother go along with this punishment that I believe when Nina said she wouldn't allow the punishment that he put on her older children before she had faith? Not that she allowed it with faith.
Right. Why? That is it. Why did he have to disappear?
Well, I'm going to take a break real quick because I know what didn't disappear. Canvas and Crime gifted 10 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Absolutely sad.
They're not letting him surf the internet, or else he'd know that I'm looking for him, and he'd know that he should actually be trying to get a hold of me. And that keeps me going.
Is there strong reason to believe he may have been abducted?
I don't know if he's been abducted or if he's just, over at a friend's house. Never know. But I'll know when I find him. I'll know exactly what has happened to him.
And other news outlets were reporting that there were lights seen in the backyard that were caught on camera by a neighbor's video. Is that true?
No. What that was a trash truck. Went through, picked up trash, and when it left, of course it went faster. It didn't have to stop to pick up trash. That's just false information provided by a particular person.
Did the dogs ever pick up a scent for Sebastian?
From my information that I've been given, no.
Did they find anything on Sebastian's cell phone that would, kind of show that he was going to run away or where he might be?
Not that I know of. He didn't have any internet access or anything on there. He'd have been able to call, text, take a picture, send a picture, use the calculator. That's about it.
Was Sebastian in school on Friday, the day before he went missing?
Yes, ma'am.
He's had it. He's broken. He's worn out. Yes, Sebastian was in school on Friday. Yes, he was seen on Saturday. Yes, his father has proof of life. The issue with the proof of life, it's only Sebastian getting into the car at Texas Roadhouse. What happened between Texas Roadhouse and the Proudfoot home?
Right there. That is something also. What happened? Because I think it all happened between Katie and Sebastian, and it happened around that time. That's what I'm thinking.
Shame on Jennifer Coffindaffer. She's doing the same thing to Seth that she did to Tyler Vaughn and Brandy Neal.
No, that too?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I played it at the beginning. I showed it at the beginning of the show.
Oh, I must have had it muted. Darn.
Wow. Are you, Chris, or Katie, or any of you suspects in this case?
We're not.
Have you been cleared?
I don't know if the investigation is still ongoing. We wouldn't be cleared until the investigation is done. But currently, from my understanding, they don't have any information that would attach us to any wrongdoing.
And I'm sure they were told that. You don't get people to talk by saying you're the suspect. Cheryl Rock said Sebastian had to disappear because he could ruin CP's chance of getting Faith. Now, remember, Nina said, because we have a huge puzzle here, and it's all the dynamics of the family at this point.
Yes, follow the family.
To lead up to what happened that night. Nina said Chris wanted her to have the big A. Didn't want a child. Did not. Now he wants Faith badly. I think it has to do with this.
Drive a narcissistic person in a relationship are power, control, and domination. And the narcissistic person uses the relationship as a source of validation. If those needs are not being met or cannot be achieved, that is a contributor to the volatility of these relationships.
And for those that missed it at the beginning, Jennifer Coffindaffer said, as I mentioned, it will all come out. All these parents hurt Sebastian Rogers. Why haven't I posted them? Because the main point is Sebastian had no one to run to. No, comma, not even his bio dad. I can tell you right now that if Sebastian had called Seth or had a way to get a hold of him, because I have a feeling his phone was taken from him for whatever reason.
But he would know the number. He would know the number. He could ask a stranger.
He could have ran anywhere. There's a reason. Seth would have been right there.
Yes. I agree.
The last known footage that we know is him getting into the car at Texas Roadhouse.
And he said he didn't seem to be his joyful self. I remember I wrote that down.
And that is one thing. Could have been a bad mood. I don't know. Could not have known what was getting ready to happen.
Well, I wouldn't have been in a good mood probably either, or joyful even, if I had to go home with her. I don't know. Maybe that's a little picture of the inside of what their relationship really is. He's not happy. You know?
He breaks my heart because he smiles with his whole face. He is so adorable.
He is, Brooks. He is.
And this footage of him taking the trash out is not confirmed. The last known proof of life is Sebastian getting into the car at Texas Roadhouse. Now, there is a press conference coming up in about, well, I think they moved it to 11:45. But this is ridiculous, and this woman needs to stop it. She said, I hope he ran away from a bad environment and is found alive. His mom was the last to see him, but was she? We really don't know. Ellie knows. Law enforcement doesn't know at this point or be solved.
Yeah, I mean, he had to be. I mean, they're going to have to take, law enforcement are going to have to take it as Sebastian was 100% with Katie. You know, there's no getting around that. There's the proof right there. There's a receipt. I mean, so to say, or whatever, you know. I'm not saying it's true, but to law enforcement, that's all we got.
She said law enforcement hasn't named any of the parents as persons of interest, so let's hope he took off. It is one in Tennessee, for some reason, they hold back on that. In Oklahoma, they'll come right out and say it. If they're wrong, they're wrong, but they'll come out and name them. Missouri does it too. In Texas, don't fuck with Texas.
Right.
But in Tennessee, for some reason, they hold off on that. They'll say everyone's a suspect. And they've said it in this case. Everyone's a suspect.
Well, they're not treating them like it. I mean, I would think they, and why, like earlier, why, like Peter Hyatt, why has the other family not been interviewed?
Well, if they have, no, I mean, I'm not going to jump to that assumption because.
Oh, well, yeah.
We don't know.
Well, we need to know. Well, they need to know, or we need to know, or somebody needs to know. Because I think her dynamic plays a role, Brooks. I do.
I think her dynamic does. I think both Katie and Chris were the perfect storm.
Yes. Yes, they were.
I believe that there was extreme punishment in that home. When Jennifer Coffindaffer says he has special needs, she makes it sound like he's in a wheelchair with a tube in his stomach. He is highly intelligent. And the way that she is saying she was, and yes, the bio father too. That's wrong.
Yes. Now that like you don't throw that out like no, that is not. That's not.
CPS has gone to Katie's house before. You didn't know about that until this investigation. How does that make you feel?
That somebody somewhere dropped the ball because I was never informed. And I'm the biological father. I have joint physical custody. Somebody dropped the ball and didn't reach out and inform the father, which is me. And I don't understand why the state dropped the ball on that one.
And how did you find out about CPS?
Podcast.
And I mean, how does that concern you, especially with this case, that they might have done something to cause him to run away?
I don't know what that really means, but I just know that I don't have all the information.
Is there an official timeline? And I know people, there was, we went to bed at this hour, but does TBI or anyone have an official timeline as to the
I'm
series?
pretty sure they do, but I'm not involved in the investigation, so I wouldn't have it.
Have the three of you been in contact every day like you were several weeks ago about this?
Was in contact with both Katie and Chris today, but I've heard he said his phone is open and available, and so is mine. You can leave a voicemail. Like 7 or 8 people have already left me voicemails today. I'm going.
Let's think about the text that was sent to Seth from Chris Proudfoot. And that text said, "Don't be mad, but Sebastian's missing."
Like, how do you word your child is missing like that in a text message? Like, don't be mad at me, but I broke your necklace. Like, I'm
Don't be
sorry. Sebastian's quite a bit more important than don't be mad at me. I don't care how you feel towards me after I'm going, if it was in.
It's one thing if, you're at someone's house and you're like, "Ooh, don't be mad, I broke your plate."
Yeah, yeah.
Don't be mad, but I just stepped on, one of your flowers in the yard.
Yeah. Don't be mad, Linda, but your damn tulips lost their condoms.
She's outside fucking with those right now. I gotta take her. She really is. Don't be mad, but Sebastian.
Right?
Don't be mad.
Gonna make me mad, but okay.
Don't be mad, I knocked over your lamp.
Yeah.
Don't be mad, I lost your remote. Don't be mad. We're talking about a child. And it's a text. Who sends a text to anyone to tell them that their child is missing? What the hell was Katie doing that she had no sense of panic, that she didn't call 911 as she was screaming up and down the street, knocking on doors saying, "I'm looking for my son."
Mm-hmm.
Then call Seth and say, "I need your help. I can't find Sebastian." She calls Mr. 3-hour phone call, Chris Proudfeet, and says, "Can't find Sebastian."
And Clarksville is even closer.
A text.
Sure.
A text to his father. Don't be mad. Don't be mad.
I wonder if they can pinpoint though where he was, where Chris was when he received that message.
I don't.
But just the words, those words, "Don't be mad," and the narcissist saying it. He's going to try and talk in a manner that it doesn't come out that he's the bad guy. Because what was it Peter said earlier? He doesn't want that facade to drop. I don't remember Peter's words, but
it's all in his mind. It's all in his mind.
Yes.
He thinks he is something really important. He's an important guy. He is the funniest guy at the party. He is strong. He can do anything. Look at all the women he's plowed through. Look at him. And it's all control. Don't be mad.
Mm-hmm. Don't be mad, but Sebastian, or your son, he didn't even call him I probably out of habit, if I called him my son a lot, I probably would have said, "My son's missing," instead of "Your son's missing." But that's just another.
No, there would be phone call after phone call after phone call.
Exactly. Not even, there wouldn't have been a text.
Call right now. We don't text things like that.
You know, I get people calling me while I'm on the phone, and it's like, I can't just sit there and answer the phone for everybody. If I did that, I probably wouldn't be able to get out of my house.
There's been a lot of criticism over this investigation. I'm sure you've received criticism as well as the Proudfoots. How does that make you feel in a time where you're just trying to find your son?
People are being, well, that goes back to those keyboard warriors I talked about on the first interview that you and I had. They're still at it. They'll never stop. There's cowards in this world, and then there's people who are go-getters. My feet, they're on the ground. They're never going to leave the ground. I'm going to find my son. Period.
And plans, today on moving forward, any more resources being used on this investigation, or anything you have to say about that?
The United Cajun Navy is currently sitting down there right now at 90 Volunteer Drive in Hendersonville. 10:30. That's when volunteers need to show up. 10:30. Show up, have your ID, sign the paperwork, and they send people out in teams. When you show up, there ain't nobody there except for a couple people. That's because they've already sent teams out. They're just going to keep sending teams out until we find my son.
Have there been a lot of...
Okay, I've just about had it with the United Cajun Navy. For
Oh,
one, it's stolen valor. They did not find Riley Strain.
no, they did not. They
Parents,
did not. That man on the barge.
the barge operator found him. And if they are worried about internet trolls and they say, well, because of death threats, we can't go out today. Well, what are you scared of? And where
I
are you?
know. How scary are we? Are we the trolls, or who's the trolls? How scary are the people? I mean, I'm sorry. They're supposed to be Navy. Well, they should be equipped to handle it. If
Well,
they
I don't
are.
think they were ever. I just think they call themselves that. And on top of that, where have you searched? And here is the problem. If law enforcement scaled back their search and they said, no, we are investigating, then stand back and let them do their jobs. But hey, if you want to do it, go ahead, but you have to know where to search.
Exactly. Who's giving them tips? I mean, I don't hear. I mean, where they just came out like this year, and I've never heard of them until Riley. And I mean, I don't live down in the hurricane area, but and they're not. And from my understanding, they're not even the real people who helped. But I don't know. I don't know enough, so I'm not gonna speak too much on that.
Being scared of keyboard warriors, let me tell you what. No one is in the woods on their cell phone fucking with you.
Exactly. I mean, darn, you try to watch some of the video of people out there, like live action, and they're not paying attention to nothing but the ground.
Because I can tell you right now, if you've ever seen combat, you're not scared of the people on the internet. And they were never there to search in the first place. I gave them respect because that's what Seth wants. But enough is enough.
I agree. The only reason is because of Seth. That's my only thing. He wants them, let them be. But as a Tennessean, I do not understand why they even just popped out of nowhere to try and look for Riley and just cause a bunch of commotion. I guess, I don't know.
It's like those idiots with Adventures of Purpose.
Yes.
They get tips from law enforcement and tells them, we think the car might be there. And out of nowhere, they're like, look, we found a car. Well, no shit. I could have done that.
Yes.
You got a magnet set from Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Get a floaty and we can go pop in the river ourselves. We'll get a tube and we'll go
And then you
paddle.
call a tow truck that brings it out. It's ridiculous. And then they get all pissed off because JLR's out there streaming because they want to stream their own search efforts. That's what they were trying to do, and it's really pissing me off.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. They were trying to do. Okay, they're trying now. They're okay. They're trying to get. They wanted to get like AWP on the internet, and now they can't because of all this. And that's what it seems kind of like.
Well, that's what they want to be.
And so they're pissed off.
They're not the real Cajun Navy that helped after Katrina and Harvey and everything. I call it stolen valor.
Yes.
Volunteers coming out to help find Sebastian.
Today there was, and I want to thank everybody who did come out. We're seeing an increase, and we're going to continue to see an increase. I'd like the whole state of Tennessee to volunteer, and then we'll hit other states.
And you're Sebastian's father. Tell me, what is Sebastian like?
He's a unique child. All right. He can, I mean, it's really hard to describe my son. I mean, besides being unique, whether he's up to no good or he's up to good, he's just got that uniqueness about him. It's really hard to describe. I mean, he's my mini me. If he has a goal, he's going to accomplish that goal. You know, people at school, they liked him. All the kids are wanting to know when he's going to come back. They want to help and volunteer. Teachers are they're putting out prayers every day. You know, everybody, it's coming up. It's Easter. I'm hoping for an Easter miracle. You know, I could definitely use it in my life right now.
Hey, Brooks, I heard that I was just reading that comment. I thought they left because they were trespassing. Someone said they left because the locals ran them off, but I thought they were trespassing, and so they scaled back because they got called out for that or something.
Oh, hell, I don't know, and I don't care about them because they're not doing shit anyway. They were on federal land, which you can't do. It's they said now they're searching privately. Then they said they're regrouping. I guarantee they haven't done anything. It's getting ridiculous.
And on Friday, I heard no one had signed up to search on yesterday.
And soon, Seth's going to put it all together because, like right now, he's in a cloud. He's in a panic cloud.
Yes.
Trying to find his son. He's trying to do something, and he's going to realize they haven't done anything for him.
Yes. And just get them on out of here. Especially with they should be out in this weather right now looking for the kid. Well, no, I mean, if they deal with water. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, really though, who stopped?
Water? What water? They didn't get their feet wet with Riley. So enough.
Get out. Just go ahead and leave. Yeah. Quit taking time that could be pointed somewhere else. Let this man.
And why did they search the landfill?
I have no idea. They didn't. Not part of the investigation. They're not going to tell me stuff. I am emotionally attached, as any parent should be.
And how often do you meet with TBI?
If I call them all the time. Call, text, hey, any new news? They either let me know or they let me know.
And I guarantee Seth is messaging them all the time, calling them all the time, saying, what do you know? What do you know? What do you know? Cheryl said they said they know where the body is, but can't get to it because of threats.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
They're liars. They're liars. They're liars. Who would know where little Sebastian is and not go because of a threat? Who? That is just messed up to even say or even think something like that. What a horrible, horrible thing to say. I can't even tell you all the places people have searched because of nonsense. So what is really going on here? David said, I think the 3-hour conversation is a critical piece to the puzzle. Was Sebastian the topic of the conversation? Or, I'm going to add to that, was there even a conversation? Well, there's a press conference, from what I'm understanding, in 45 minutes. It was supposed to be in 4 minutes. So let's see what they say. We lost Joy again. She's back. Hello, Joy. Sorry about that.
Oh, I don't even know what I said. Okay.
So supposedly the press conference today is going to be just an update that they are searching, probably because they've had so many phone calls about the United Cajun Navy, or whatever you want to call them.
That's what I think it is.
And they just want to reassure the public that they are working. My understanding is it's been moved up. So I'm going to start closing down the show. I want to say thank you very much to Joy.
Thank you, Brooks.
Thomas, for coming up. I want to say thank you to everybody for being longtime members, gifting memberships, and donating to the channel. Keeping the channel going, because without you guys, there is no channel. Mods, I know it's been crazy in 2024, but the mod squad can handle it. You guys keep it cool. You keep it classy. So we're gonna go through this press conference. I'm not gonna cover it live, because I know, a lot of people are hopping over to Trev's channel to watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take some notes there, and I think we will come back tomorrow. We're going to have 2 shows tomorrow.
Woo!
There's 2 women missing in Oklahoma. But before I jump into it, I need to know a little bit more. I don't like to fly blind. So we will see what happens, and crossing my fingers, we have no more tornadoes tonight. You all stay safe. It has been crazy. But we're going to keep going on. We're not going to worry about what other people do. Not going to worry about what other channels say, what other channels think, all that crazy stuff. Because you guys are always here for the right reasons. Let's, again, have a big round of applause for Joy, because she's been hanging in there today. Great conversation. And you guys give yourself a big round of applause and a big pat on the back, because, again, you don't get into the craziness. You guys are amazing. Me love you long time. We're out, Joey.